if we just know that we are not the doer, if we just know that we're not in control, if we just sit back and just let life run our path for us, will we still step into our most expanded version?
Your expanded purpose, your expansion cannot be missed. It's not a conscious thinking. Your expanded purpose is you. You can't miss yourself. And so when you look external to yourself, you're missing the internal. So by surrendering, you're surrendering to yourself.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Galactic Guidance, and I'm so excited about this week's guest. We have Tegan Mel, and Tegan is a magnetic mentor and international TEDx speaker. She's toured Australia with the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival as their manifestation speaker and event host. She has manifested 19 free international trips. She's traveled to a quarter of the globe and healed herself from thyroid cancer. She has built, scaled, and sold an internationally worn crystal jewelry brand. She's opened 2 retail stores, supporting 30 plus local brands and inspired thousands over the last 10 years. And most recently, she has publicly outed herself as a channel, and that's why she's on this show. And she channels Ra, who are a collective of ancient Egyptians. I'm very excited to speak to you, Tegan. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Eleni. Yeah, it's so hard to describe them, but they'll come through, however they come through.
Absolutely. So before you do your channel, so you are going to channel Ra later on.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm just interested to hear your story. And so take us back to, I mean, it's fascinating that you manifested 19 free international trips. I can't go past that to begin with. So how did you do that?
Well, it's pretty fun. Like, I used to be a travel agent, but it wasn't as simple as that. So not everyone got given all of these. I would utilize my visualization, my intuition, and energetics to really tap into what I was desiring, having already received it and having already done. And one of my favorites that I manifested, well, one of my favorites I would say would be a trip to Spain, which was like a 12-month trip that people were applying to win, etc., get on this trip. And a few months earlier, I had started a new relationship, and he was filming for the tour. And I was like, I'm going to get on this. And he's like, how are you going to get on this? People have been working for like almost a year to get on this trip. I'm like, trust me, I'm going to get on it. And so I saw myself, I imagined that I was there. I really put myself in this, like the energy of that trip before it even happened. And I tell you what, the amount of trips I sold onto that tour was amazing. And it was fully all expensed, paid, everything trip to Spain. And he's like, I can't believe you got on it. I'm like, I can. And that was just like one of many. I found myself on tourism campaigns. I found myself invited to like all sorts of things. Like, it's pretty amazing. But yeah, like these kind of things, it's like, well, I'm going to find myself in the most amazing position and put myself there.
I love it. I love it, Tegan. So tell me, before you started to channel, because from what I read, you have been channeling now for a decade, even though you've only recently publicly outed yourself.
Yes.
So before you started to channel, what was your life like, and what was your relationship with spirituality like at that point?
I feel like I've probably been somewhat channeling or connecting to spirit in the higher realms since I was like super little. Because one of my earliest memories was sitting in a car. My mum left me in there. I was like this is a long time ago when people left their kids to do whatever they want. But my mum let me sit in the car because I was like, I just feel like I just want to sit here. And I remember sitting there speaking to spirit, and I got into this state of between worlds that I could almost, it felt like there was a gap between time and I was nothingness. And in that moment, I recognized there was something more to this world.
Wow. So how old were you then?
Maybe like 4 or 5.
Okay, so you were always connected. Is that
Maybe
what you're
7. Maybe
saying?
7. I might have been 7, thinking back to what house it was. Yeah, I've been connected for a long time. I didn't really know what I was doing. But the pivotal moment for me was, I remember I was doing an energy healing diploma. And in that energy healing diploma, I was doing an energy session on this lady. And I was going through the things, like hand over the body, typical Reiki, and like going through the process because we were practicing. And we had like clients come in. And I was at her head and I had my hands over her here. And I heard a voice that said, go to her knees now. And so I put my hands over her knees. And I asked her at the end, what was going on with your knees? And she said, I forgot to tell you. I had a bike accident yesterday. And then that's when I started hearing things. And it was
So is that your voice that you hear, or is it clearly another voice that you hear?
it was a deep voice. It wasn't my voice. So I started listening to that when it came through. And then what happened, there was a time when it was a couple of years later, and it was after I'd had the surgery for having my thyroid out, and I was sitting in a room at a meditation, and we were meditating. And I remember something coming through my body, and I grew huge. And I felt like I was so large. And what I was saying wasn't me. And that was the first time I feel that I fully channeled, like trans-channeled. So there's pockets that have come through my life consistently. I've always been intuitive. I've always had this gap of starting to know things. So that when it clicked on, all these gifts are starting to click in. It's almost like, okay, you're ready now. Oh my gosh.
Okay, and so when that time that you were saying that you trans channeled, did you set the intention at all, or it just happened?
I kind of just happened. Like in the room, we were kind of setting intentions, and we were working with crystalline divas as well. And so the frequencies were big. And so it was open in that room to essentially channel. And yet I didn't really know too much then. It was quite a while ago. Yeah.
Okay, and then after that, how did you harness that energy to continue on that channeling journey? What did you do? What did you decide? What did you intend?
Well, I kept getting defining moments that showed me that there's something beyond me that's coming through. And another defining moment was in a constellation. And I kept receiving through me. And my body would goosebump, full goosebump. And then I'd start speaking. And I recognized that what was coming through, when it was coming through, I could feel something there. And this was an invitation. I was open to channeling. And they came through, spoke through me, and then left. And one of the messages was a lady that came through. And so this wasn't galactic, but this was a message. These were messages in the room, and it was someone's grandmother, and I had no idea it was her, like her name, anything. And she spoke to her, and then afterwards she goes, "That was my grandma." It was like these were the defining moments that started to open up my channel. And so what I started to do was allow myself to speak, things to speak. I set the intention for them to speak through me and to have a conversation. And most recently, Eleni, I've been having conversations. Oh, I'm going to get so consciously with purpose over the last year, just sitting with them, having conversations and saying, talk through me. So I'll get light language come through one side and I'll have answers come through another side, or I'll ask questions and then answers will come through and conversations. And sometimes it takes a little bit for them to come through. Sometimes it's instant and they start talking and then I don't know where I am and they come out and I'm like, I don't know what I just said. But the channeling has always been there in a way that when I get up on stage, I speak and it comes through. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know who's talking, but I don't know what's going on. And I do know because it's coming through me and it's this channel. But the conversations that I've been having recently are profound. They're amazing.
Wow.
And that's what inspired me to out myself because I was like, all right, this is powerful. And they kind of told me to do so.
I love it. I love it. I've got a firm belief that if you have this gift,
Yeah.
I know that we all have this gift, but the fact that you are now able to energize this gift and activate this gift and utilize this gift, that you do need to use it somehow. And so when you did out yourself as a channel, I was really pleased. I love it when channels out themselves. It's like, oh, yay, another one. When you added yourself, did you get any kind of flack from people that knew you?
No, not at all. I was like, oh, everyone's going to think I'm a weirdo. Like that was literally like this. That's my reaction. And I was like, I don't want to post this. I was a bit edgy about it and just did it. Because I was like, well, people
Yay.
already think I'm a weirdo. And
Good on you.
do you know what weird means? It actually means creators of our own reality.
Crude as a
Creators of our own reality.
creators of our own reality.
That's
I've
right.
never heard that. I love it. I absolutely love it. So tell me, with the information that you are receiving as you're channeling, what are you actually doing with this information?
Currently, we're having conversations and they're essentially providing instructions. And it started to come through strong before I went to Egypt. And then after Egypt, it's been conversations, like powerful chats, very loud, even to the experiences of them coming in, tapping me on the shoulder. And that's not unusual. That's happened for over the last decade as well. Like I'd feel things, they'd tap me, they'd tap clients' feet, all that stuff. But they're just around. And I can feel that they're around.
Okay, Tegan. So now that we've heard your story, I think it's time for you to connect in. Would you be open to channeling for us?
Yes, yes.
Awesome. So yeah, if you want to connect in, and then we can have a chat.
So you're welcome to ask so many questions.
Thank you so much for coming in today. I really, really appreciate this opportunity to speak to you. Can you tell me as to why you have chosen Tegan to act as a channel for her? Can you, or why she's acting as a channel for you to begin with?
Hello, how are you? Today, we welcome you as well. And that Tegan is actually the kia kura. She is a representative of us. She is a representative and the initiative that she is here to support people on this planet. We can't do the things for her that she is here as a representative of us in her physical reality, in her physical body. And so through this, you can recognize that through her, you can see yourself.
Beautiful. So with that, if I could just ask you to open up with whatever it is that you feel that the listeners need to hear at this point.
That you are of your highest purpose when you can feel within the grace, the alignment, the perspective that comes through you, not of what is expected and anticipated for you. When you can tap into your highest guidance, the messages that are there without your present physical reality, then this is going to be the most powerful for you. And as you tune into this, you are to listen intently to your physical internal reality before listening to your external reality. I was talking this the other day, this kind of sikia kura shikia that they kia kura shikia. I can see kia kura sete kia kirish kura sete kia yoko. Your karakia kura shikia that they are kia. Your grid lines, your guidance, aligning through you. You are in your divine timing. Shakya, when you allow yourself to step forward, we see you for your essence on a greater potency than what you can actually see. So expand out beyond what you are expecting of yourself and to see the bigger wholeness that there is, because there is so much more out there that is expected of you, that is not expected of you. Also to refine and expand this physical reality so you can step into who you are to be.
And so in order to step out into the most expanded version of who we are, what do you suggest that we do? Because many of us, me included, have been trying for years to channel, to connect in, and there does seem to be some issues with doing that. So what do you suggest that we do to expand into the highest possible potential of who we are?
Listen to your heart. Your heart will expand outwards. When you listen to your heart, it tells the stories of divinity. There is a deep trusting in humanity that is there. It is all written out in front of you and within you. Everything is coded. Everything is here for you.
I've got a question about surrender versus inspired action. So many of us think that in order for us to step into our highest potential, there's something we need to do so that the next door can appear, so that the next reality can open up. But will we, given that everything is coded, like you said, everything is coded, if we just know that we are not the doer, if we just know that we're not in control, if we just sit back and just let life run our path for us, will we still step into our most expanded version?
Your expanded purpose, your expansion cannot be missed. It's not a conscious thinking. Your expanded purpose is you. You can't miss yourself. And so when you look external to yourself, you're missing the internal. So by surrendering, you're surrendering to yourself. There's a difference, and that is grace. There's a difference, and that is the deep trust that when you can fully trust that beyond the mind and feel in your heart, the answers are there. They've always been there. And as humans, it's a desire to label and look for things external to solve the riddles as such. It's like a solving of solving of the puzzle pieces. Yet the puzzle pieces are the puzzle. You're not meant to put it all together. It already is together.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I guess, from the human perspective, there's many of us that have been in the void in this space for a very long time. And it doesn't seem to be like, obviously, we are evolving and growing, but our human mind is doubting that anything is actually happening. What's your perspective on that?
Things are always changing and evolving, and the void is the place of birth. And the void is essential because if without the void, there is no growth. And to turn things into reality, we must have both the void and the growth. And it may not seem, it's happening. And so you have a tree, and the tree's roots are beyond the vision. And so what's happening beyond the vision is bigger than you could even imagine.
Yeah. And so really it's all about the good old trust and patience, and just let it all go, because as you said, you can't miss yourself. So whatever purpose that we're here for, it's going to unravel.
But you
Correct?
can't sit there and wait for things to happen. The inspired action you spoke of is important, yet the surrender, that there is a difference between them. The inspired action is taking a step based on what it feels like within yourself to knowing the step, yet without the attachment of the push, the drive, the force. And when you lead only from the force, it's forgetting the other side. It's the top of the tree growing without the roots. You've got to have both. You must have both in order to transform and to experience this, like the gift. So you must have the space, the gap, the shukura se tekia. Kara se tekia shukura se te ya kara se tekia kara se tekia shukura se tekia tekia shukura se tekia tekia shukura se tekia shukura se tekia tekia ko shukura se tekia tekia kura se tekia shukura se shukura. They're showing me a pyramid, which is inverted pyramid. Like shukura se tekia ko tekia se tekia ko kura se tekia shukura se tekia 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 ko se tekia shukura se tekia. It's like looking into the karasia, kushukuraseakia, akareseakia. So when you see the ocean and you flip the ocean inside out, because this is not going to make sense to the human reality. Excuse me. You place two cells together, and inside is a combination of both, and that is life.
What if there is no inspired action? There's no inspiration or motivation. What then?
If someone doesn't have inspired motivation?
Correct. Yeah.
Or if that doesn't exist in the world?
No, just where people are in their journey, where they're not feeling inspired to actually do anything.
Where are they inspired? Are they inspired at all?
Not at this point in their journey.
Does something make them happy
Well, they haven't found it yet.
in their day-to-day life? Can they look at the sky and see something
Yeah, so that's
bright?
different, right? That's about gratitude and joy. But I guess what I'm talking about is this, stepping into one's purpose or mission, and they're not inspired to actually take
Mm,
any kind of step.
it's not far different, because it's the feeling of that gratitude, that excitement within the body, that inspiration, which is the guidance of who you are. And it's the feeling there, that tapping into that awe and wonder can be found. If you can find it in other things, you can find it in your mission and your purpose, and finding the
Beautiful.
things that inspire you and that excite you, even if it doesn't feel like it is your mission as such. Just following the threads of that gratitude and that joy is the key. It's the golden pathway. It's the steps towards where you're going. And the thing is, you may not know exactly where you're going. And that's the journey, and that's the key. You don't need to see the entire map. What if the entire map doesn't even exist? You're only taking steps.
What else would you like to share with us at this moment? Anything at all?
We would love for you to initiate the wisdoms that we share, that comes through these messages, to remember who you are and to tap into your greatest and highest potential by coming back into yourself, and to remembering your greatness, that you are made up of the sun, the light, the essence of all beings are connected through energetics, through the realms of beyond your time and space, that you are not alone, that you are together with us, and we love you.
So, when you speak out that light language, what do you actually, what actually happens? So, you understand that language, or you just speak it?
I just speak it. It's
Okay.
like it's like they could. It's like when I'm connecting with them, it just kind of does this, if that makes sense. And sometimes I'll see like codes, like hieroglyphics, coming through as well, and or it all translate in my head
Mm,
sometimes, but it won't. I don't know if it's an exact translation, what it is yet. But yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
okay. So, for people out there who want to do their own channeling, what guidance do you have for them, Tegan?
Um, put a fan on. um, Trust. Just let them talk through you. Let them talk through you. Set an intention and call in any guidance that you have, and to set the intention to allow them to, that it's for the highest good that
Mm-hmm.
comes through you, and to have a conversation. For me, what happens is I feel like they talk and then I talk, and then they'll talk and I'll talk. And I feel like it's different for everyone, and there's no rules. Like literally, there's no rules, and that's something that I personally let go of. Was, it must be this way or this way. I'm like, all right, they're gonna. Sometimes it'll be like this, sometimes it's like that. And one of the things that I will tend to do is I will get a piece of paper and I'll write things down. And sometimes when I have been talking to them, I'll write things down and it will just flow, and the channel continues,
Mm-hmm.
and it will
Automatic
come through.
writing.
Automatic writing. It will just come through, come through. I've done this a lot through my whole life. I didn't know what it was. So rather than feeling like the definition and the labeling of it being important, I feel like it's an essence of trust and allowing and letting what comes through. And you'll know if it's for you and if it's coming through from the feeling of love. I get hot and I get goosebumpy personally. And I'll
Mm.
jitter and my eyes sometimes flicker in my head. And some people have eyes shut, some people have eyes open, mine change. Like, I don't know, sometimes I'll remember what I said, sometimes I won't. So if you ask me to repeat something, I'll probably say I don't know the answer.
Fair enough. Yeah, there are so many channels that do it their own way, and
Can I tell
like
you
you
a
said,
story? Can I tell you a
oh
story? You
yeah,
kind of
of
this.
course, of course.
I'm going to tell you a story about because we didn't really talk about these guys and what they actually do. Because I was like, I'll tell you a story about Toth, and he like far out. I was sitting on the Nile and on a boat in the Nile, and all I could hear was emerald tablets. And then I'd close my eyes and I'd see pictures like what I was experiencing before. I'd get pictures, and I could see this eye, like an eyeball with a shape around it. You know the shapes with the eyeball. It looks like a hieroglyph of an eye, and it was green. And he kept saying, "Emerald tablet, emerald tablet." I'm like, I don't know. And I'm like, obviously it's a book, it's well known, and I didn't really know what it was at the time. And so I was like, okay, fine, I'll go read it. I found out, went to go read it, and I just paid no attention, and it kept happening again and again. And then I was walking across the street in on the Gold Coast in Burleigh, and I could feel this, like a tap, like it was almost like a beak point. I look around, not there, but I could feel him, and I could hear Emerald Tablet. Emerald Tablet! I'm like, fine, I will read the book. So I put it in, listened to it, and I could energetically feel him standing over me while I was listening to it, waiting for me. And then I kid you not, I went to an event and we were doing a little healing work on each other. And she goes, oh, Toth was there. And he shoved a scroll in your neck. And I was like, of course he did. Of course he shoved a scroll in my neck. Let me guess, it's the Emerald Tablet.
Oh my God.
I feel like they've definitely got a sense of humour.
Do you know why this is funny?
Why?
This is funny because I interview a regular channel on this podcast who's called Marcus Bird, and he has a big connection to Egyptians.
Yes.
And he said this same story to me 3 weeks ago. He's 3 weeks ago, he was told emerald tablets. So this is like, what the hell? Am I supposed to read it? Because
Yes!
Because it wouldn't,
Yes.
it wouldn't stop, right? Until you told me this story. He was told, Marcus was told, emerald tablets, and now you're saying, and it's just like, what? Okay, emerald tablets. I'm getting the message too. So it's not just for him and not just for you. Like, why am I hearing it? Yeah.
And so these messages, I feel like our podcast literally just started. I feel like these messages are not for like us as individuals. And so what they told me the other day was discern the message that's for you and that message is for others, even though we're part of a collective. It's feel, and this is what I was saying today, it's like feel it through your body and recognize like what is it that's for you and then what's to share. And a lot of the time it's to share as well, because they keep telling me in my ears to share the message of Egypt. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. They're like, speak. And so this is the thing. It's not about the book as such. And yes, you'll read it and it's coded. However, there's more to it. And the more people that can tap into it, the more unique codes they are able to tap into and access. And it's hilarious. It's powerful. They showed me pyramids all the way up. I saw pyramids in the sky. I saw things just keep appearing and showing me. And so the power of what's essentially been hidden from plain sight through these messages of Egypt. And it's not about Egypt. It's Egypt is Egypt. there's more to what meets the eye. And so it's the etheric Egypt, essentially.
I love it. Tegan, when you converse with your guides, do you see them at all or do you just hear them?
I hear them, I feel them, I know that they're there. Sometimes I'll see them. Like I'm not extremely visual. I have a visual. The way I see things is a knowing seeing. My clairvoyance isn't as potent. I've had some deep connections with Hathor as well, and I wouldn't be surprised if she comes through as a closer channel as what I speak. Had a very, very powerful experience with her. I'm happy to share that story as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
And so this happened when we were having dinner at a rooftop in Egypt, and on the first night being there, the guide said, "We're going to a temple that that we don't generally always go to. We're going to Dandara." And she goes, "It's the temple of Hathor." And then my body, the moment that she said it, my body glitched. It just went full goosebumps, shook, like whoop. And then I went, in my ovaries just went, it's like something happened. And I was like, I think I started bleeding. And I'm like, I don't know if I can start bleeding. I just finished my bleed about 5 days ago. I went and checked, and sure enough, I started bleeding. In that exact moment, she said the word Hathor, and I had a full 5-day bleed. And I didn't even know who, again, I wasn't conscious of Hathor. And I said this to the guide. I turned to her and I told her what happened. And she goes, "Oh, yes, and you remind me of Hathor." And interesting enough, these were very, these kind of occurrences happened a multitude of times. Like there was a moment I'd walk into a temple and I've been here before. I've been here. I know this place. So they come to us, they speak to us 3 weeks before I even went to Egypt. I got the loud booming voice came through. And he said to me, "You are the high priestess of Ra." I'm like, who's that? And I Googled it. I'm like, I can't find a high priestess of Ra. And I can feel them sometimes smacking their heads. They look at me and I can feel them just going, "Oh gosh, really?" Like, really? And I when I was in Egypt, I asked one of the guides, I said to her, because she was talking about the high priests of Ra. I was like, "Is there a high priestess of Ra?" She's like, "No, they were high priests." I'm like, "Wrong! There was a high priestess of Ra." No, I didn't say that. There are things out there that we're being told that are different to what's remembered.
Of course. When you get told this information, is there a part of you that says, "I am not"? And
Yes.
is there a part of you that doesn't want to share it with others in case people think like, "Who do you think you are?" Like, is there a part of you that
Yes.
and then what happens in order for you to share it?
I probably get nudged quite a bit, and yeah, there's definitely there's a big part of me that is like, "No, don't say that. People are going to think you're loopy." And who are you to say this? Or what, the things that come through my head, and I'm sure other channels have said this as well, and it's like, is it real or am I making up stuff? And when when things like the Toth story happens, I go, I felt that, and it's there. And when they're showing me codes to move my hands in certain parts of my body, then to connect with them, I know it's there. And when they start telling me things that I wouldn't have otherwise known, It's there. So that's why I say to trust and to fully trust what comes through, because there is more
Yeah.
to us than this. There's more to
Of
us than this.
course. Of course.
And
So
if
are you
you
able, sorry, go on.
go, I was going to say,
No,
if you feel like you can see something, you don't need to see it through here. It's a seeing. It's a seeing through here.
yeah. And do you connect into other people's guides at all, or no, just your own?
I get messages. Oh, I get goosebumps and messages through my body. And I used to have people come in and talk to me when I had the jewelry brand. I'd do market stalls and shops, and people would come and talk to me, and I would hear the voice that would come through, and they'd tell me stuff. I'd say to them, I don't know if this is for you, but this has come through. Is it okay if I share it? And if they say yes, I will tell them. And so just random things. And that was for me. So I believe that they do share things for others. And I don't know whether it's other people's guides or if it's what's coming through. However, what I do know is that, yes, absolutely can share things for others. And I love to inspire others to tune into the messages themselves, because it's so powerful to be able to honor
Course.
yourself through your own messages that come through and to
Course.
be able to share that.
So is there anything at all then for me personally?
I haven't heard anything. You can ask them.
Is there any message?
I can ask them. But okay, so I closed my eyes and I could see a pyramid. Like, I love showing me pyramids, but it's like a triple pyramid. I was like, it's like steps. Okay, show me more. Is there anything for Eleni? Is there anything you want me to share? You want to speak to her? They want to wave a feather at you. It's like
Wave a feather. Is that to say just
no. It's not a flyaway. It's actually okay. I laugh, I giggle first, and then I'll tell you because it's funny. They're holding it. It's like a feather. It's like a surrender feather. It's like, those white flags.
No, I knew what it meant. Yeah. I knew what it meant. It's like, just give it up. Just give it up. Just let it go.
And you're strong enough because there's this multi-layered pyramid there. And it's not everything that you see. There's more to it than what meets the eye. There's a multitude of layers within it.
I've been getting that kind of. I'm laughing too because I've been getting the silent treatment like big time lately. So I get it. I knew that was going to happen.
So are they not talking through you at the moment? Is that what you mean by silent treatment?
Yeah, it's almost like, no, completely let it go. Completely let go of talking to us. Just completely let it go.
And I wonder if it's beyond words.
It's just like, forget about asking. Forget about it. Just forget about it.
Which is interesting because they're not forgetting you. It's a external looking out beyond you, because what if the answers you already have, and by looking into yourself and knowing the answers within you is the most powerful thing that you can do, that you can then create a deeper yay have a deeper connection with them when you are deeper connected within you rather than looking to them for their answers.
I love it. So if you had one last thing to say to the people listening, what would it be?
To trust yourself. to trust those inner nudges that and you're perfectly exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And there is no mistakes. There's only synchronicities. So if you're feeling like something is tapping you in the shoulder or, you're hearing things, lean in and get curious because it could change your life.
Oh, I love it.
I love it.
Yay. Thank you, Tegan. That was beautiful. I
Thank
love
you.
this conversation.
I loved it
And
too.
loved having you on. Would love to have you on again in the future. So thank you. Lots of gratitude, my love. Lots of gratitude.
So much gratitude, so much galactic wisdom. I love it. There's so much more beyond us than we even can conceive in our human brains. So let's tap into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On that note, thank you so much and
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Galactic Guidance. We hope that the messages that you receive from the higher realms have brought you clarity, insight, and comfort. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Remember to stay connected to your own inner guidance and trust the journey ahead.